and I had been racking our brains, thinking up stories to tell that would perfectly describe you. We came up with a lot. The problem came when we remembered that the room would be full of our wonderful friends and family, and your stories are full of four-letter words and inappropriate innuendo. So our mile-long list quickly whittled down to a shorter yet still entertaining, maybe quarter-mile list. Reese spent a good deal. Reese spent a good deal of her younger years chained in her bedroom because she was unsure how timeout was supposed to go. Don't worry, this was pediatrician sanctioned. Even this didn't stop her from shaking the door the inch it would open and knocking every one of Nana's precious moments off her shelf. When we would go outside to play, my dad had to tie her to a cinder block in the middle of the driveway so she didn't run away. It was a long rope. It got really scary when our mom and dad had to venture outside our home. After Reese walked away with another family at Hershey Park at one time, she never was without a leash in public again. Okay, this one might not have been pediatrician sanctioned, but according to Mel, she'd rather get dirty looks than not have her reach adulthood. And let's not forget all the days spent with her partner in crime, Drew. There was that one day in particular when Reese and Drew made their way into the fireplace to hide. Then later that afternoon, our mom was sent into another panic when Drew helped Reese hide in the dryer. And definitely not to be forgotten was the day my dad came back from a meeting and there was a message waiting for him saying, "Keith, your sister-in-law called. Marisa handcuffed herself and they can't find the key." Then in preschool, our parents went for open house and were wondering why a line was forming behind the slide. Turns out the rest of the class felt they should ask Marisa's permission before they went in. For those of you who know her now, this really shouldn't surprise you. Needless to say, there was rarely a dull moment when Marisa was around.
Once Reese reached middle school, my parents were definitely able to relax in the sense that they no longer feared for her life. But that doesn't mean things became any less entertaining. I mean, this is when the dynamic duo known as Marisa and Laura really got off the ground. It is at this point when many stories become too inappropriate to speak aloud, but let's just say they have a cardboard cutout of a man in Marisa's bedroom that's been the subject of more than its fair share. Even with these short stories, it should be clear to you that we have spent our entire lives laughing. Well, there was a little fighting and a good deal of crying, but it usually ended with some laughing. Actually, it usually ended with Niki and I trying our hardest not to laugh because she just made us so mad and we didn't want to give her the satisfaction that she was funny. We were usually unsuccessful. Through the fighting and the arguments, there was never a question of what we meant to one another. Our whole lives we've been each other's best friends. I feel like a lot of siblings live separate lives, but our lives have always remained intertwined. Case in point, while Niki was at my friends are no longer just mine, they're ours. Case in point, when Niki was at grad school, Reese saw Melissa way more than Niki did, and my friends Laura and Meg have a group text with Marisa that I'm not even a part of. But frankly, we wouldn't have it any other way, especially because that means Niki and I would have to give up Reese's friend Laura.
You don't have to be around Reese very long to realize how incredibly generous and caring she is. Though she may not want to admit it, Reese spends a good deal of her day worrying about the rest of us. You really only need to know Marisa's phone number because if you can get in touch with her, you can find the whereabouts of every other member of our family. She is like a second mom, but we've enjoyed every minute of it. As you've heard and probably know, Marisa can be a lot of things, and we've probably called her all of them, but most importantly to us, she's our best friend. Now, we thought we had our hands full with Reese for the first 16 years of her life, but we really had no idea what we were getting ourselves into once Mark entered the picture. I'm not sure if you've heard, but Reese and Mark have been together for 9 years. She occasionally brings this up, but usually she rounds up to the nearest, 12. That is 9 years of family vacations, 9 years of seeing who can collect more shoes in the family room, and 9 years of being late waiting for Marisa to get ready. And all of this, and you never went on one single break.
Mark, I'm not sure if you realize this, but you've been a part of half my life. I was 11 when you and Reese first met, so I honestly have more memories with you than without you. I've been told I don't know what it's like to grow up with a brother, but I disagree. For the past 9 years of my life, I've been tackled, had my head slammed into the ceiling, been made fun of to no end, all thanks to Mark. But I also know what it's like to have someone reach the high things on the shelf for me, take me golfing when my family is too busy, move me into college, especially to carry the hard stuff, and let me make fun of him to no end as well. I know Niki shares the same feelings because on more than one occasion she has come home to find Mark laying in her bed and stayed up with her to watch the end of the Orioles game. So I'd like to think that we know exactly what it's like to have a brother, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Most parents wish they could choose their children's significant others, but my parents couldn't have chosen any better than Reese did. My dad finally has a kid who'll sit in the garage and drink beer and listen to the Doobie Brothers with him, and my mom finally has a son to spoil. I'm pretty sure his pile of gifts for Christmas is bigger than ours. The addition of Mark to our family didn't change anything. It only made it that much better. Mark, it shouldn't surprise you that we watched a lot of speeches on YouTube to figure out what exactly we were supposed to say. And it is at this time when we would normally warn you about the crazy family you are becoming a part of. However, considering you have practically lived with us for the last 9 years and have still stuck around, I think we can skip over that part. You have been there to witness many arguments, everything from who does more around the house. We'll give you this one, Reese, it's your day. To us all crying around the kitchen table when I wanted to go to Spain. And for some reason, you're still here. So I think it's safe to say you know what you're getting into and you're not going anywhere. And for this, we couldn't be happier.
There's no question in our minds that Mark brings out the best side of Reese. We have spent the past 9 years with Mark as a member of our family, and we're so excited that we finally get to make it official. Now, to toast their new marriage, we are going to end with a short poem, as is customary in our family. It seems like only yesterday, actually it feels like years, when Mark came in the picture, and it's here we start our cheers. Before she could even drive, Reese had found her one true love. She may not have been looking, but these things come from up above. It didn't take long to see that they were meant for one another. We haven't lost a sister, we've simply gained a brother.
As we raise our glass to toast our sister and her spouse, we wish them health and happiness and children to fill their house. A nephew would be nice, but we're hoping for a niece, because nothing would give us more pleasure than them having their own little Reese.
I know.